Hello, everyone. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. Welcome back to another episode of KimUnity Soulutions Podcast, where we empower employees and enhance leadership in order to cultivate a shared success. I am so glad to be with you all today. Today, we're going to be talking about connections. Connections. When is the last time you have evaluated your relationships? When have you actually looked at the connections that you currently have? Are you delinquent? Are you still in relationships that have expired, that no longer serve the same purpose? That's what we're going to be talking about today. When I looked up the definition, I always like to start with a definition so that we start off on the same page, okay? So the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines connected as joined or linked together. The Oxford Dictionary describes it as associated or related in the same respect. Connection, a relationship in which a person, place, or thing or idea is linked or associated with something else. So when's the last time you've evaluated your associations? Do you need to check in on them? Are you tied to things that you know no longer serve you or are no longer beneficial or no longer healthy? Well, today I would like you to think about that. It may be time to make some changes, and we all have to go through it. There's different types of connections. When we think about it, there's family connections, which is by blood or adoption or relativity. There's friendships. There's business connections. There's professional connections. Sometimes we're connected through our sports or maybe our children's sports, so it's really indirect. Our hobbies. We're now using social media, so now we have these connections that are based online. A lot of times we don't even get to see these people. We are connected. These connections aren't always physical. They could be because of the shared interest that we find on social media. What is it that you need to revisit, if anything? Now, don't get me wrong. Connections are good. There are benefits to being connected, right? We need connections for emotional support, to share stories, to learn from each other, so that we can share experiences together. Like connections are necessary. We see what happens to people who are in solitary confinement. It's not healthy. So yes, connection is good. But we also need to evaluate to see, okay, is there anything that's holding us back? Are we tied to something that's dead, that's no longer serving us? Connections are important. Who are you connected to? Who are you trying to get connected to? Why are people wanting to be connected to you? What value do you bring? Is it only one-sided? These are just things that I wanted you to think about. I came about this topic because I was really thinking about connections in the professional space and how those connections are important. And when I was in corporate America, I didn't really want that connection. I didn't want people in my business. I wanted to be able to go into work and to leave. But I do see how that can become a negative impact. There are consequences to not having those connections. I mean, we see it all the time when we're at work and somebody in the C-suite, they decide to leave, but sometimes they take someone with them. They have an opportunity for something better, and then they go and bring somebody with them. So connections are important, not necessarily for financial gain, but connections are important. But in thinking of that subject, I was also thinking about what kind of connections do we need to detach from? And that's where I am speaking from today. Have you thought of anything? Is there a phone call that you receive and you look at the caller ID and you don't want to answer it? You avoid it. Just seeing the name or the number brings some kind of negative connotation or feeling or emotion to it. There are so many different connections that no longer serve us. You can be connected to someone simply because of how long you've already been connected to them. Have you thought about that? Some people hold on to connections simply because they've been connected for so long. You hear people say it all the time. I've known them since I was in preschool. We went to third grade together. Is that relationship worth staying connected to? Is it simply based off of longevity? Or is there substance? Are you still, when you speak to this person, is it simply about the past? Are you reliving memories from 20, 30, 10 years ago? Or is it something that's growing? Is it something that's elevating you? Now, don't get me wrong. I do have a friendship from first and second grade. And that is an example of growth. We're not always talking about the past. Yeah, there are memories that we have and that we share and we reflect on. And we think about how things have changed now. But it's not where we stay. We've grown now. We talk about our children. We're talking about life decisions and new opportunities. It's not just about the length of time that we've had this connection. Can you relate to that? Do you have connections that are simply based because you all went to the same elementary school or the same middle school? Just something to think about. There's also connections where that connection is only alive because of where that other person is going. People are connected to you because of your journey, because of maybe where they think you can take them. It could be because of your status or your popularity. Is that connection a one-way street? Why do people connect to you? Why do you stay connected? It's very important to think about this kind of stuff. And I know that there's, random relationships or connections that's based through Facebook or social media because you can find friends of friends of friends of friends that you have memories with. But that's not something that has to impact you. I'm talking about those closer connections. It could be the other way around as well. Are you connecting to other people because of what you do now? You want to be seen. You want to be known for what you're doing now. You know that you've changed. You're not the same person you used to be. You have elevated. Are you keeping those same connections because you want everyone to see where you are now? Is it ego-based? Just a question. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I just want you to think about it. This podcast is all about perspectives. It's all about seeing all sides. It's about growth. It's about understanding. It's about empathy. It's about doing what's best for yourself as well as everyone else. Maybe you have family that you're connected to, but only by blood, Maybe their energy brings you down, or it's an unhealthy relationship. Are you required to keep that connection? And not all disconnects have to be abrupt or harsh. You can have distance. You can add distance to some of these connections. Let's connect an extension cord to give you more space and more freedom and more distance from that energy, that negativity. Sometimes people want to be distanced because you're too positive. Have you ever even heard of such? You're always thinking optimistically. Now, for me, on the other hand, I'm a realist. So I tell you how it is, just like I'm doing now. And not everybody likes that, and that's okay. But there are people who I have to distance myself from. Especially people who have that big heart, who's always helping other people. That connection is necessary, it's good, but at the same time, it could be draining. It's like a battery. We revving that engine too hard and we're wearing out our batteries. Our emotional batteries, our mental batteries, our spiritual batteries. What are you connected to? This is what I want you to think about, because so many of us right now, especially with remote work, or so many people becoming entrepreneurs and business owners, we are taking so much more on. But what are we taking away? What are we subtracting? And sometimes what I see is that we're not subtracting enough. We're not taking off that dead weight. We're not taking off those relationships that bind us for no reason. It's time to reevaluate our lives. It's hard to move up when you have something else dragging you down. And I'm not saying don't be helpful, don't help anyone, but I'm also saying you have to also know where you're headed. Where are you going? And look, there are some of us who are connected to people maybe because of habits. Just out of habit, just out of routine, just because you're used to picking up the phone and calling someone. Just because you have always picked up the phone and called your girlfriend or called your friend. But it's out of routine. What are you all even talking about? Is there substance? Is there growth? Think about it. Think about it. Connections have a profound impact on our mindset, our energy levels, and our direction in life. I posted a quote the other day that said, connection, what did I say? Connection determines direction. So who are you connected to? What are you connected to? Where are you trying to go? Is that connection serving you? Is that connection taking you to your desired direction? No judgment. This is a no judgment zone. This is a conversation that I wish you were here, that I could hear your perspective on it. I could hear your story. It's time to let go of some things, or it's time to reconnect. Who have you let go of that you should not have? Maybe that reason was warranted. But at that time, obviously, you evaluated your connection, your situation, your circumstance. Is there dead weight? What frequency is that connection on? These are things you need to be asking yourself. Think of the 5 people that you're always in contact with right now. What is that connection based on? What is that frequency like? Is it a high vibrating frequency? Is it something that you need to step away from for a little bit? Or is it something that you need to disconnect entirely? Not every relationship is supposed to last forever. And with social media, we get caught up in how many followers we have, how many friends we have, how many connections we have. It's not about the connection. It's not about the quantity of connections. It's about the quality. It's about the quality. You have to know and realize where you are trying to go. And you have to prioritize that. Are you connected to somebody because are you connected to someone for someone else's sake? Do you keep in contact with somebody because of what someone else thinks or what they want? But you know that's not what's best for you. Do you need to let that go? How much longer will you continue? And I'm talking about myself as well. How long will we continue to put everyone else's needs above our own? Some connections are not meant to last. Please understand that. Do you have connections based on old feelings? Like, out of all the numbers that you have in your phone, why do you have certain people in there? If you just went through your list, what is that connection based on? If it's an old feeling that no longer serves you, why are you still connected? These are just things to think about. These are just things to think about. And like I said previously, these disconnects, they don't have to be harsh. They don't have to be abrupt. You can just slowly wean yourself away. I prefer just a healthy conversation. If you're still in contact with them, I prefer you be straight up. If there was somebody who was connected to me, who maybe they felt that way about me, maybe I was dragging them down, or maybe I can see how I can be too much of a realist. Maybe they don't want that connection. I prefer that they just let me know. Just let me know. I have people that are very negative that call me, and like I'm explaining to you, I'm not looking at answering the phone call. And when I do, and I feel what I expected, I'm thinking to myself, why did I answer that phone call? Now, on the other side of that coin, maybe it was because I automatically assumed that's the way it was going to go, that's how it occurred. Or maybe I'm thinking that because that's the historical data. That's what usually occurs. But if I have to talk about it like this, it's time to let it go, right? Are you reaching out to those connections because you're bored? Because like I said before, it's out of routine. Maybe you need to supplement that time with something else. You need to replace it. Just because you drop a connection doesn't mean that you can't connect to something else. Sometimes you just need to figure out, where are you going? Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we get confused. Sometimes there's so many decisions or so many visions that we see that we don't know exactly how to get there. And maybe it's not the connection that's the problem, it's the timing. Maybe that connection isn't good for right now. Maybe we just need to put that aside until we can get ourselves together. Sometimes we have to focus on ourselves and get ourselves together before we can start bringing in these new people, these new responsibilities. Because each person you bring in has something else attached to it. And so we have to be mindful enough that we don't, that we don't overload our circuit. Don't overload your circuit. Sometimes you just need to unplug. What are you connected to, and what all is connected to you? For some reason, I see someone in a hospital bed, and I see all the connections. You know how they have all those connections all over their chest? That's how we look sometimes. That's how we look. We have these invisible cords and wires attached to us that's just draining us and pulling us in different directions. And we need to disconnect because we need that strength. We need it for another purpose right now. Are you expending all of your energy on something that no longer serves you? Let's get it together, y'all. Let's get it together. I hope I'm touching somebody. I hope somebody can understand what I'm saying. I said sometimes we need to replace that time and that energy, or we need to redirect it. But when you can't, maybe you're connected to something that you don't have the strength to disconnect from. Maybe something keeps calling you back. I don't know what it is. In that instance, you may need to seek professional help or rely on your faith. Depending on what it is, you need to change environments. Let me tell you, a new environment will change your entire world. It will change your entire world. And I'm not saying that you have to move out of state, but stop frequenting the same places that you usually go to. Are you attracting the same kind of people? Where are you going? Where are you finding them? What is it that triggers you or that attracts you that's unhealthy? That's something you need to look into and seek professional help if necessary. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of that. I'm not a mental health specialist. I'm just speaking from my experiences. I am Kim the SME, and SME stands for Speaker of My Experiences. I'm just telling you what I've experienced, and I'm giving you my perspective. It's important for us to reevaluate our connections. Now, this next episode that I speak on will be more about the workplace and how connections are critical. They're very important in the workplace. They're very important, and sometimes we don't realize that until we leave. What have you learned today? What have you thought about? When I was speaking, who crossed your mind? Or what crossed your mind? Why do you think they popped up in your head? What is it that they do that has made you think about them on this subject? Think about it. Think about it. And I speak about these subjects because I want everyone to do better. I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to be more helpful. I want to speak about my experiences so that it can positively impact you, impact someone else. And then what happens is it transcends throughout the world. By us individually making these changes, it touches someone else. It reaches someone else. It impacts someone else positively. And then they take it back to their tribe and their family and their job. And then it impacts somebody else. So it's an effect. It transcends where we are. Be the solution. That's what I'm asking everyone that can hear my voice to do, is be the solution. Be the solution to whatever it is that impacts you, that impacts your environment, your surroundings, your family. Be the solution. I hope you have enjoyed this message. If you enjoyed it, please like and follow, subscribe, comment. I enjoy coming on here and sharing my experience with you and how it can impact you and help you. And just give you something to think about, give you something to talk about, give you something for you to input and share your perspective on. We need your voice too. We need your voice too. I am Kim the SME. As always, I am speaking from my experience. I thank you for joining another episode of KimUnity Soulutions Podcast. I hope you tune into other episodes. Please go to my website, www.KimUnity Soulutions, SOULUTIONS, and shop our store. I have merchandise on there that really speaks to employees. It speaks to employees who are in the workplace and feel undervalued and overworked and disengaged and looked over and disconnected. Is that you? Is that you? My hope is that you be the solution. We cannot always wait for change to come from the top. This podcast is also about enhancing leadership. Enhancing leadership. By empowering employees and enhancing leadership, we can cultivate a shared success. We want solutions to be a win-win for everyone. If you enjoy this message, if you are a frequent listener to this podcast and you enjoy my topics, my point of view, my perspectives, and you would like for me to come and speak in your organization or your corporation, if you would like to speak to me one-on-one, leave me a DM. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at KimUnity Soulutions. I look forward to being back with you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. You all have a blessed one.